What's going on, YouTube? I'm back. Another video, and as you can tell, better quality finally. You can see my face clearly, and I'm not muffled when I speak. Now you have no reason not to subscribe. Alright, moving on. So, yeah, I've been a punk for years, but before that, I was quite the little metalhead. Yeah, around like 13 or 14, I was really into metal. And I've loved a lot of genres of metal, I mean most of them, but if there's one thing I learned over the years is that for me, personally, and this is just for me, I find technicality and, musical mastery, I find that very overrated. I find that you don't really need to go out of your way, spend years learning your craft if you're going to play a genre like metal, because, I'm not trying to insult the bands that have spent this long mastering their craft, because it's a lot of work, it's really hard, and I respect that. But for me, when I listen to a lot of prog metal bands like, Dream Theater and Rush, I just find myself wanting to fall asleep most of the time because it doesn't really do anything for me. Now, I know I'm trailing off the punk path by talking about prog metal, but the reason I do this is so I can do my best to defend what is perhaps the most ridiculed and dismissed genre of any music that I know to exist. I'm talking about power violence and grindcore. Now, I started getting into power violence about 2 to 3 years ago, and since then I've been introduced to a number of bands that I would have never been introduced to otherwise, and I'm very grateful for. I'm talking about bands like Spaz, Infest, Man is the Bastard, and Charles Bronson, who are known to be the pioneers of power violence. These are all very, very killer bands, and I'm so glad to have had the honor to listen to them. The reason I bring up power violence is because the majority of the world, and this even extends to a large handful of punks out there, seem to have an unhealthy hatred of this genre. And, I can sort of understand why. Now, don't get me wrong, I respect prog metal for doing what it wants to do. Hell, I listen to Propaganda all the time, I think they're a great band. I even bought a ticket to them when they came to Ottawa and played a show. But, for most other prog metal bands, I just find myself rolling my eyes most of the time. Because, sweep picking and 7-minute drum solos doesn't really do anything for me. I find that a lot of bands portray a very apathetic theme based on much of their lyrical stylings. Now, not all bands are like this, of course. Just like a Propaganda. They're very politically involved, very intelligent people. But, look at a band like, just a random technical death metal band, Veil of Maya. Okay, I just said that randomly. But, that band just seems to be, look how talented we are, the band. It's not really my style, I'm more about, balls out anger, passion in the music. Also, I really want to drive home the point about, power violence is in no way simple music or easy to play either. Being the fastest music I've ever heard doesn't come easy. I'm talking wicked fast blast beats, insanely fast riff speeds. The only difference is that you don't really get that arrogant, self-righteous, we're better than you feeling when you listen to power violence, because that's not what it's about. These bands don't give a shit how hard the music is to play. They're just trying to make the most aggressive music, and by doing so, they happen to achieve all these things. Classic two birds, one stone scenario. If your average music lover is searching for, blaring guitar solos and 7-octave vocal ranges, then you don't look to power violence. If you're looking for any sort of production quality of any kind, you don't look to power violence. If you're looking for, very diverse, well-organized set of songs, you don't look to power violence. No, power violence is just for people who don't need, expensive production or blues metal fusion. This is just the best way to express rage or anger. It's very, very satisfying. And at the end of the day, if you're pissed off at your boss, you're pissed off at your government, or anything you can think of, really, what's going to feel better, an hour-long Animals as Leaders album or a 10-minute-long Lack of Interest album? I don't know, you answer that one. Whether you love power violence or you hate it, everyone should admit that it's very good at accomplishing what it wants to do. To deliver a message in the most sincere, aggressive, and most effective way out there. I keep delivering the message that power violence is just for venting out aggression, but that's hardly even true, because I listen to power violence at all times of the day. I mean, just because of the sheer passion in the music, it drives me toward wanting to listen to it more. The reason I wanted to make this video is just to convey that prog metal and technical metal need not look down upon fans of grindcore and power violence, because it's just all a matter of preference, really. I guess that does it up for today. I guess I've sort of said what I wanted to say. Make sure to leave a comment in the section below as to which album you want me to review for next time. And yeah, until next time, like, subscribe, listen to power violence, listen to prog metal, listen to any music ever. See you next time, YouTube.